Good day, everyone. I am Jobert Ramos, and today, along with my group, the Group 5 from BSN2E, we will be presenting to you our presentation, The Parts and Function of a Cell. So, my other members are Miss Jhanna Alessandra Ras, Jabel John Regacho, Jhanine Rivera, and lastly, Jansen AC Ramos. So let's start with the learning lessons objectives. So at the end of the lesson, the students are able to give a definition and description of a cells or cells, label the parts of a cell, and identify the functions of each part. So here are the topics. What is a cell? We will define what is a cell, and then we will identify the parts and functions of each cells. So let's start with the first question. What is a cell?
So, what is a cell? So, it is a small compartment that holds all of the biological equipment necessary to keep an organism alive. So, all organisms are made up of cell. So, it may be made up of a single cell, which is called unicellular, or many cells, which is called multicellular. So, next we have the parts and functions of the cell. First, we have the cell membrane. So, what is the cell membrane? It surrounds the cell and is responsible for regulating what moves in and out of the cell. When we say cell membrane, it supports and protects the cells. So it also controls the movement of the substances in or out of the cell. It also separates the cell from the external environment. So next, we have the nucleus. So what is a nucleus? So it contains most of the cell's genetic material. The majority of the nucleus is filled with chromatin. So the nucleus contains the hereditary material of the cell, which is the DNA.
Moving forward, endoplasmic reticulum. It is an organelle of cells that form a network of membranes. They are important for many cellular processes such as protein production. So there are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. One is the rough ER. The rough ER has ribosomes attached to its surface and is responsible for protein production and then protein modification. Another type of endoplasmic reticulum is the smooth ER. So the smooth ER doesn't have any ribosomes attached to its surface, and its main role is to store calcium and synthesize lipids. Next is the mitochondria. So the mitochondria is popularly known as the powerhouse of the cell. So they are one of the most important of all organelles. Their role is to produce energy currency through respiration. So this energy is called the adenosine triphosphate or ATP. So the ATP is a main source of chemical energy for the body. Next is the Golgi apparatus. So the Golgi apparatus is also known as the Golgi complex. It is another set of membrane that serves important functions, including modifying protein and transporting substances out of the cell. Then there's the centrioles. So the centrioles are hollow tubes that give organelles their shape. The main function of centrioles is to help chromosomes move inside the cell. So the centriole also play a role in cell division. So the centriole help facilitate the formation of mitotic spindles. The mitotic spindles help the separation of chromosomes and cell division. So moving on.
Lysosomes. They are the stomach of the cell. Their role is to break down waste materials and cellular debris. Vacuoles. They are enclosed compartments that are filled with water containing organic and inorganic molecules. Peroxisome. These collect and safely break down chemicals that are toxic to the cell. Chloroplast. This is the organelle in which photosynthesis takes place. In this organelle, the light energy of the sun is converted into chemical energy.
Okay, so the next part of the cell is the pili, also known as fimbriae. Pili is a long thread-like strings coming off the cell surface. The thread-like strings refer to hair-like structures that protrude from the surface of bacterial cells. Bacteria can use these to bind to other bacterial cells to exchange genetic material. So, pili helps bacteria to attach to other cells. As I mentioned, pili enable the exchange of genetic material between bacterial cells. During conjugation, or the transfer of genetic material, the pili acts as a conduit for the transfer of DNA from one cell to another. When we say conduit, it is like a passageway or a pathway. So some bacteria use pili to move across surfaces in a coordinated manner, a process known as swarming motility. So let us now move on to the next part, which is the flagella. So flagella is a tail attached to the main body of a cell that can rotate to move the cell forward, most often associated with bacterial cells. The flagellum rotates or oscillates due to the movement of ions across the cell membrane, driven by energy from the cell's metabolic processes. As it rotates, it creates fluid flow around the cell, propelling it forward. This movement can be continuous or intermittent. The bacterial flagellum is a vital structure that enables cells to move through their environment, allowing them to adapt, colonize, and interact with their surroundings. So that ends our discussion. Thank you for listening.